Well, here we go, a preview for the week coming up, and it looks like it's going to be once again another interesting week of earnings that are definitely going to move the market, and there's definitely going to be a few stocks that I own that are going to be making a few moves in the market. But big thing that everyone's going to be looking at mainly to start the week is this Ripper rally going to continue? The last week was unbelievable. The last couple of weeks have been a bit awful in the market, and with a snap of your fingers, boom, the big dip that we've been on has massively recovered it. You look at the S&P 500, 5% recovery in the index. You look at the FTSE, even the UK stocks are kind of following. Oh, what's the US doing? We're going to copy them. The FTSE 250 was even up 6%, and all the small caps. When you look at the Russell was up a good chunk as well. So very, very good week in the market. Individual stocks for me personally, there's a lot of individual stocks making really good moves. PayPal, DraftKings, and I think it was last week was the best week in the market this year for me, and definitely one of the best weeks that I've personally seen on a number wise. Again, it was fantastic. So we want to kind of now see not just a recovery to where we were, we want to now see us push on a little bit. It seems like a few people are getting a little bit more optimistic around the economy, and also hoping that the Fed's going to be done with interest rate wise. I think that's what everyone's kind of getting excited about. So we'll see what happens there. But apart from that, we've got another mega week of earnings coming up. We've got Berkshire Hathaway that have already reported. We've got Realty Income that are going to report on Monday. I know this is very popular on the Discord. I would say about 40% maybe of the Discord own this stock. Personally, not one that I own, but I can see why a few people are getting into this one at the moment. It is kind of towards levels now that it was during the CV dip, paying a 6% dividend yield on an earnings basis. It's historically quite low for what it's been in the last kind of 10 years. So a few people are buying this at the moment, and obviously a few guys that are especially on the Discord. I know a lot of you guys do like that one. So we'll see what happens there. Hims and Hers is probably the big one for me personally reporting this week. This is probably the biggest position that I own that's going to be reporting this week. Disney's a bit is closest to it, but not to levels of Hims and Hers. Obviously, these are the most anticipated earnings, so there will be a few that are not on here that are going to report and worth pointing that out. But yeah, Hims and Hers, that's probably the big one. I'll probably make a full earnings breakdown video on this, just like DraftKings, because I know you guys do like them sort of videos for DraftKings and Hims and Hers, the two that we normally do on here. Hims, obviously the big thing is that last earnings, I believe, the share price was a lot higher. I think the last time we had earnings was around $8-ish. So the stock has since then, fallen 27%. So I think from a price on a share price point of view, if it's a good earnings, it's definitely set up for a big jump up on a share price if the earnings are good, because it is so cheap now. And I'm not saying that just because it was $8 and it was $6, as some people sometimes think. From a valuation basis now, I think you're down it's a one-time sales. I think from a profitable point of view, if you start thinking this company can generate 50 million in profit in the next few years, that's insanely cheap for a company that's doing the growth that it is doing at the moment. It looks very, very cheap. And you look at the numbers that you have. EPS is from a negative 0.09 to a negative 0.03. That's a pretty good increase overall. If they were to get any better than that, that would be absolutely amazing. From a revenue point of view, they're expecting 6 to 8% growth. I think we could see them push into the 70s realistically. So if they do that, that'll be absolutely amazing. The big thing will be the guidance. That what will probably move the stock for the next quarter. Obviously, the expectations are already quite high for the EPS side of it, so that'd be a little tricky. But from a revenue point of view, 36% growth, I think they could hike that up easily, get that up into the 50s. I think the market will really love it if they do guide for that much. I don't know if they'll set out targets yet for 2024. I'm sure they did last year in Q3, so we'll see what they do. Obviously, at the moment, the forecast is for 24% year-over-year revenue growth next year. I think realistically, we'll probably see close to double that. So I think that's got a lot of room to hike up. The big thing that we're going to see on with Hims realistically is, for me personally, the key thing I'm looking at is the weight loss. It's the new product they're launching. How's that going? What are the plans? What are the expectations for that? I think that's what the key thing we're going to see. And I guess the worry is that is anyone kind of cancelling any plans with the weaker economy out there? People stop going to Hims, and obviously, hopefully, they don't. If anything, because it's cheaper healthcare, maybe they're attracting more customers. And we'll see what they bring out. Obviously, we don't have to wait long. We're only going to have to wait a few hours. By the time you guys see this video, you'll only have to probably wait a couple of hours, and then we'll have the Hims and Hers results, and then I'll probably cover that on Tuesday and see what happens there. On Tuesday, we've got Uber that's going to be reporting. Celsius, obviously a stock that I'm back into again, a stock I used to own, made good money on it, and then I was like, it's having a bit of a dip, and I do regret selling it, so I have bought back into Celsius. Since I bought it, the stock is up around about 10% since I did start buying the stock back in again. If I have a quick look here, yeah, it says 13% here. So I would like it to. The perfect situation for Celsius is where it comes out with a good earnings report, but yet it dips. That's what I'm hoping for. So I would love to buy more Celsius, but I want to get it under 150. Ideally, if I can, I want it under 125. So I don't know if there's anything that can maybe spook the market a little bit when they bring the earnings out and it's a bit of an overreaction. We'll see. But yeah, I'm obviously expecting good earnings. When I went to the US the other week, honestly, the shelves that were selling Celsius were empty. It was so popular. You look at the latest data from like Spins, for example, and the data is insane. Like the shelves are shifting even faster than what they are at the start of the year, which is crazy. So I don't expect them to bring out weak earnings. I expect them to bring really good earnings out, but hopefully the market somehow finds a reason for it to drop. That's the perfect situation, but we'll see. Datadog's a stock I like. Just from a valuation basis, it needs to be a bit cheaper for me to buy it. After close, we've got Rivian that are going to be reporting. Upstart, that's always quite a volatile one, so keep an eye on that one. Axon's actually an interesting company, but same again, I would like that a little bit cheaper. Dutch Bros is an interesting company once again. It's like a bit of a baby Starbucks that's up and coming. Keep an eye on that one. I think they still need to make a few improvements, maybe a bit of a cheaper valuation, but it's interesting to watch. Toast, I've looked into Toast before. I think we've covered it on the Patreon before. It's an interesting company for sure, and when I went to the US the other week, I didn't really realise how many places are starting to use Toast over there. Obviously, we don't see that in the UK, but in the US, there's quite a few places using it. The growth has been insane. The profitability is the thing that puts me off it. But then I listened to someone talk about it the other day, and they're saying, well, longer term, once they get the expensive hardware out, the actual devices that that you use at the tills, and then it all goes to subscription to keep using the services. Once they get the upfront costs out of the way, this company will actually do very well from a profitability point of view. But it's actually serving all the hardware at the moment that's causing it to look a lot lower on the profit point of view. And I think the gross margins only sit around 30% as well. So I'll keep an eye on that one. It's one that's on my watch list at the moment. Roblox are going to be reporting. Warner Brothers, that's quite a popular one on the YouTube scene, but I don't own. Under Armour reporting. After close, AMC. Walt Disney, that's a big one. I know a lot of you guys, I would say about 25% of you guys that watch this video probably are a shareholder of Disney. So we'll see what happens there. Obviously, we want to see improvements inside the company from the last couple of quarters. We'll see what happens. Obviously, they've got a few more big shows out recently, so maybe that helps them. Obviously, Netflix numbers were good as well, so maybe they're coming with a bit of more improved quarter this time. We'll see what happens. Affirm are going to be reporting. HubSpot is another company I really like, but would like it a little bit cheaper than where it is right now. Thursday after close, Oatly, that was a popular stock on YouTube. I didn't like that one though, and I don't think it's done quite well recently. Fiverr is a stock that's on my watch list for 2024. So I always start pinpointing a few stocks to keep on a watch list and come back in a couple of months' time. Fiverr is, Enphase is one of them. Fiverr is one of them. I want to see them back up to higher growth and drag that profitability up. If they get up to higher growth and drag that profitability up, and I really love the platform, just the financials need to be better. If the financials get better and at this sort of valuation, we could see where we're at in 2024. It's one that I'll come back into probably summertime. I'll check out their earnings, and then I'll probably reassess in a year, 6 months, a year's time, see if it's now or buy. Just need to see a few more improvements from that one, but I'll definitely check out their earnings for sure. We've got Yeti, that's a good company. Same again, would look like that one to be a little bit cheaper. Unity, I've never understood the hype of Unity. I think it's a terrible company from a financial point of view. I don't know from a product point of view, but financially they're terrible, and I've never understood the hype with it. But they're reporting the trade desk. Win Resorts is always an interesting one. We've got some MJ stocks that are going to report in as well. So those are the kind of the big earnings on the US side of it. One thing that I'm going to point out is S4 Capital. They are due the Q3 update sometime soon this month. There was actually a company in the marketing space as well that actually reported their earnings last week, I think it was, and they were seeing exactly the slowdown that S4 Capital was, but they were maintaining profitability, which is what we need to see S4 Capital get back to, and hopefully the share price, starts reflecting that a little bit better. The S4 Capital are due their Q3 results. A few people are saying that it's going to come out on Thursday. Historically, they brought it out on the 14th, I believe, last year, which would mean it would be next week. And I think they do normally report, I'm trying to look quickly on the calendar here, which would be the 16th. The 14th would be the Tuesday. So we'll see. I just thought I'd make you aware that S4 Capital are due a report in the next 2 weeks, and a few people are saying it's going to come this week, and it is going to come on Thursday. I don't know if it is. I haven't seen any confirmation, and I don't know if it will come out on the week after, but don't be too surprised if S4 Capital do bring the Q3 out in the next 2 weeks, because it is due. I can't find a confirmation on what day that is going to be, but just to keep aware of that anyway. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, so that's a bit of a preview for what's coming up this week. It's a busy one. We do start getting towards the end of season, end of season now. We're probably around about 75% done. After this week, we're probably around about 85% done, and we do start to move down the other side. We'll get the last couple of kind of Target and I think Alibaba and JD.com, a few Chinese companies have still got to report, which will probably be the week after, and then we're pretty much done after that. So that'll be it of 2023, and we won't see another earnings season until late January, February time, which is crazy to think about. But we'll see what happens with this last bit of earnings season coming up. Anyway, if you could, smash the like button. If you're on here, subscribe, and I'll see you in a bit.